Good morning, good looking people, and you're good looking because you're always looking, and of course, you are finding the good in everything and in everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you had a great week so far. Happy Chanukah. It's the 8th day of Chanukah. Hope you enjoyed Chanukah. Both all the presents and the eating and the friendship and the family. And of course, it's still got a couple hours left. And also all the miracles that we've had and that we're going to have from this Chanukah. It's also Erev Shabbos. Today is the 3rd of Teves. This Hayom is really tough to give over because it's all about different corrections in a sefer called Torah Or. I'm going to try to talk about the corrections very briefly, and then I'll share with you a little story about different Hasidim that were making corrections in the Likutei Torah. So, in today's Hayom for the 3rd of Teves, there are two different corrections. One is in a mimer that starts with Tanu Rabbanan Mitzvos Ner Chanukah. It says there, Ki ein kedai kol hadayanim, and that it should read Ki kedai kol hadayanim. And what it's meaning is, in this particular discourse, it's talking about how the neshama endures a lot, and that after 120 years, the neshama goes through a cleansing. And through this cleansing, it's able to really experience a higher level of Gan Eden and godliness. And the way it's written, it says it does not need to go through this process. The correction is it does need to go through this process. So the extra, instead of having the word Ein Kedai, it should be just Kedai. The second correction is, there's another discourse that starts with Rani V'Simchi. And there it says, Shu Pnimas Arch Anpin, and it should say, Shehi Pnimas Ein Soif, which is a different correction. It's a very deep correction. I have no chance in trying to explain it here, but it's another place of explaining a different correction within the Torah Or for this discourse, Rani V'Simchi. Now, there's a little note here that there was a chassid by the name of Reb Anshel Aronovich, and it says, at the end of the 19th century, over 100 years ago, that the Likutei Torah was out of print, and they needed more books out there. So this Reb Anshel took it upon himself to prepare the editing for the next printing. And it says that he spent a lot of time on it, and he found over 3,000 mistakes that he corrected and put together for the next printing. And he was so excited about all his corrections and what he was able to find that he went to share it with another fellow chassid by the name of Reb David Tzvi Chaim. And he was waiting to hear back from Reb David, but there's no answer. So he reaches out to him and says, "What do you think of all the corrections that I did? Aren't they great?" And Reb David wasn't very enthusiastic, and he says, "Here's the thought. Till now, there's been a lot of mistakes in the Likutei Torah. At least when somebody got to a mistake, they started to think about it. They go from a different angle, try to figure out what was going on, and they would hock their heads and break their brains until they figured out the situation. However, if they never figured it out, they relied that it was probably a printing error. Now that you fixed all the errors, nobody's going to break their brains over it. They're just going to just read, drink it like water, and not give a second thought." It says here that the Rebbe himself spent a lot of time also reviewing Sfarim and making the corrections. So corrections are important to get it right. And the message of the day is to learn more Torah. Learn more Torah, and there's a lot of details in the print. And if God forbid you find something you're stuck, go ask for help. There's something new that you can learn from it. And you never know. There might be a printing error there. Have a wonderful day. Have a great Shabbos. Happy Chanukah. And we'll talk more on Sunday. All the best.